Today we're going to dive into those divine feminine messages that I touched on in the most recent video that I did for the divine masculines and what I've been picking up on in the energies in the collective. When I touch into these energies, I share them as the masculine and feminine because of the way that they come through and also the way that I experience them from an internal level. With that being said, it's not necessary to dive into the labels if that doesn't feel correct to you. You can focus more on the energy and the messages as they're coming through just as they pertain to you as a human being. But I do it this way because many of you here with me are on this journey because of some form of a divine love, sacred union, initiation, activation in most cases. And so we sort of talk about these so that you can apply those to your inner union energies, but also then apply them if it's aligned and correct for you to your external environment, whether it's one singular person that you are here for, or really the messages that I bring through are intended not only for those, but ways that you can support yourself in all of your relationships, all of your interactions on this planet. As we're coming into deeper states of inner union, that allows us to step more deeply into unity consciousness with one another. And so, how it might be experienced for many of you who resonate with me is that you find some of the masculine and feminine messages both apply and feel relevant. Oftentimes, even on the inner energies, as you're experiencing one thing, you may notice that it's being inspired because of something else that's occurring within you as well. And what I mean by that is, I've been picking up on the divine feminine essences really being ready to move more fully into the new energies and really embody in the physical world in the new ways of being. And why I'm sensing this has happened is because so many have unraveled and dissolved out of the old patterns and have learned many of the lessons that were necessary to embody more deeply into the healthy standards and self-love in unity consciousness. This is not to say that it's perfect, but there is enough of that mastery that is happening that we're now, as the collective, able to move more fully into those new templates in a physical world way, which is allowing more of the old patterns to reset, sort of collapse out. So, where you found yourself bridging between both worlds, you may find that there are still bridges available to reach you and to connect with you, but that you're not needing to hold those up for yourself in the way that you did in the past because you're really ready to move into the new and allow what you have known and what is meant for you to meet you where you are now. Okay. And this is really a beautiful energy. And if you're not experiencing it, that's okay. This is still sort of some of the energies we're evolving and ascending into. And we're all where we're meant to be in divine and perfect timing. And so, even masculines may be experiencing this same energy of moving into something completely new as they're feeling exhausted from the old ways of being. And there may be feminines that know they're ready to move into the new, but again, it's because they've sort of are done with the old way of being. And this is happening within us, masculine or feminine, because we are all ready to evolve in our own ways. And it feels important that we just allow that to happen within us as individuals in whatever way is perfect for you. Okay. There's no rush, there's no race. This is about just allowing whatever is meant to unfold to unfold. But I do feel guided to talk to you more deeply about something that else that is occurring within this transformation that the collectives are evolving into, both feminine and masculine. And I hit on it last week where I said, and picked up on the stream of energy in a Patreon video, that all of us, masculines and feminines, are preparing and in the process of receiving more higher masculine essences. And this is part of the evolutionary ascension process, that as we're making more space for ourselves, more of the masculine essence is being freed and ready to land and come home. So I'll express to you some of the ways that I've been experiencing this. And it was through some energy work and meditative energies where I was intending to connect more fully with my own internal masculine and the gifts of the masculine energy. And over a series of time, I felt more of my own internal energies come online in a way that I had never experienced before. And with that, there also came a process of sort of thawing and opening up to processing energies in my system in a deeper way. So I, as Danielle, have been going along this process and processing and thawing and dissolving and all of the things that we talk about here as I'm doing the inner work. But what happened is more of my essence was freed, so to speak, or retrieved, or thawed, or released, or whatever you want to call it. More of that essence became available to me, and I still had to go through this process of really nurturing and nourishing that part of my system in my nervous system. And I'm sharing it in this way because I've actually worked with several other feminines that are going through a process of this, as well as touching in with some masculines who are going through a process of stepping more deeply into new levels of who they are. And this is human beings, masculine and feminine, some on this journey and walking with it with a knowing. Some are not focused or thinking about any of this in this way at all. But I am seeing this across the board with humans, humanity. We are all part of this planet. And as the planet is going through an ascension process, we are all experiencing levels of this transformation, whether we're aware of it or not, in that manner. Okay. So you're going to continue to see these things happening across the board. And so, yes, we talk about masculine and feminine here, but the intention of doing that is to bring a deeper understanding to our own energies and essences as conscious creators, because we are all of those energies. But on this planet, we were not just split into two different beings as masculines and feminines, but our inner energies were split. And we were taught to dissociate from parts of ourself. And with that, I mean masculines from a very young age, in many cases, are taught to dissociate from their feelings and from their intuition, which is actually not their natural nature. And many feminines are taught to shy away from being more physically building masculine oriented, so to speak, where they're taught maybe to wear dresses and not play in the dirt. I'm just giving you very broad examples. And I think that we are moving through a lot of that in our society, but these are still old templates that are pretty deep within the genetic system. But again, not our natural nature as human beings. And so we're going through these processes of thawing out and remembering all of who we are and embodying into who we are as human beings, which ultimately is the goal, right? Like being all of who we are, our connection to source, our connection to our highest self, our connection to the earth and being embodied in this physical vessel with our capabilities and abilities fully intact. All right. This is what I'm here for. So I hope this is making sense to you. But most importantly, once again, it's really about honoring whatever feels aligned for you, right? Trusting yourself, trusting what feels right for you, and understanding that every human on this planet is in their own personal process and going through their own personal experiences. And if you're experiencing something different than them, that doesn't negate the validity of what they're going through. And if they're going through something different, it doesn't negate the validity of what you are experiencing. It is all relevant and it is all okay. And this is why it's important to drop into that deeper trust of yourself and honoring that for you. Okay. And I feel like we're getting into some of this because it's what seems to be coming to the surface, and these type of topics come up when we're going to the next levels of evolution and you're ready to level up, because as you're going through that and you feel yourself ready to expand, you may find some of those old patterns or triggers coming up, or external people, places, or things sort of come up and test you or say the opposite or try to plant seeds of self-doubt. But what you're going to notice is that you've embodied so deeply into yourself and you've harnessed this process and you've built that trust with yourself that none of those areas or seeds of doubt or the projections, they really just don't have a place to land anymore. And so they're easily and effortlessly sort of just evaporating, right? Or they're present, but they're not affecting you because you have truly embodied into this energy of trusting and loving yourself and more deeply dropping into that confidence. Okay. So interestingly, I know this was sort of meant to be a feminine message. But I love that it's coming through in this way because to me, that is speaking to me about how many of the feminines are more deeply embodying the internal union, where you're caring for yourself and mastering yourself and working with more and more of the parts of yourself, and honoring yourself makes it more easily and effortless to honor others in whatever path they're experiencing, understanding you're not meant to hold yourself back and wait for anything or anyone, and you're welcome to continue to rise to your next levels and grow. And that, in fact, supports the process for everyone else around you to up level in their unique ways as well. All right. So let's roll into this. This feels important because a lot of times in these energies, the feminines here don't wait for the masculine. Yes, it's that, but it's so much more than that. This applies to your friends, your family, your coworkers. It's taking those principles and truly allowing yourself to free yourself from any confines or bounds of having to stay a certain way, to stay in certain connections. This is so much deeper than the one counterpart. This is about truly freeing yourself into your sovereignty as a human being and allowing your true potential and capacity to be what leads you where you're meant to go, and trusting that all of those people and places and things that are meant to be with you, they're going to find you on the path ahead in whatever ways they're meant to. Your job is to keep moving forward in the ways that you are guided, even when you can't see who's going to be there with you, even when you're uncertain of where this path is going to take you. As long as you're trusting yourself, following your true guidance in your heart, you will continue to land where you are meant to land. Okay. Wow. All right. Whoa. Are we taking those? Okay, I guess we're going to look at this. Wow. Okay. So we started out with this benefactor, grace, and generosity. These cards fell out in this order. And I feel like it's coming in with the internal union energies for me right away. It's like having that grace and generosity with yourself, trusting yourself, allowing yourself to grow to your potential without needing validation from others. And in fact, being able to see through any sort of sabotaging energies for what they are and to continue to move forward in your love and in your grace, supporting yourself. This is very much speaking to me about how you are supporting yourself, prioritizing yourself in your internal union energies. All right. And this is actually bringing into the energies of this fortune's wheel, luck, and right timing. And what I feel is that so many of the feminines have dropped so deeply into this internal union and are feeling so much more comfortable and confident in who they are, surrendered to the higher power, living in their standards, mastering what they've been learning. And this is actually activating more deeply that wheel of the divine destiny essence. Of course, it's always in action and it's always supporting you. But it's like this beacon of light here is sort of speaking to me about this. When you're ready, Source knows. And when Source knows, Source sets things into motion. And this wheel of your divine destiny in the new energies, for those of you who resonate with this, is being activated in a deeper way. I feel this actually for the planet as a collective. This is happening for Earth in general, but I sense that many of you might be feeling sort of a cracking open of something new. And you may notice that things in your world and your environment are feeling a bit different in a new way. And this is part of it because what's happening is as you're taking the time to bring the results of who you are now to the present in an embodied way, it's sort of like a game of dominoes where you hit the one domino and the rest are starting to fall into alignment, is the energy that's coming through. And then we have the eye of the needle, and this to me is speaking about that intentionality of that divine alignment. The more you have been asking for your true alignment, the more that it's been aligning you with it, which is ultimately a big part of this activation. And then we have the covenant and the sacred contract that came at last. And what this feels like to me is I can sort of feel where you're working with all of your pieces and coming more deeply into your own inner alignment, your alignment with source and your alignment with earth and your alignment with yourself and your head and your heart and your roots. And it is activating more clearly that original core soul blueprint and all of the sacred contracts that are meant for you. And why I say it that way is because we've been talking a lot here over the past months about unraveling old vows and oaths and covenants and contracts that were all meant to happen. They were all part of the lessons. But as we're moving into the new energies, there was original contracts and birth plans, agreements, partnerships, sacred unions, unity consciousness, unconditional love templates that many of you agreed to do. And these are different contracts to me from an energetic standpoint because they feel where many of the contracts we had in the past may have felt like obligations that needed to be taken care of, attended to, and completed. This is that contract to bring home to home. It's like this is where you settle into that opening up to and embodying and manifesting that life that you've been dreaming of and envisioning in a new way for yourself, but also where we're planting those deeper seeds and templates for the planet. Okay. And I'm sensing that these are things that will be unfolding for us over the next months and years. But also, there are seeds being activated and planted that the collectives are working on right now that will reverberate very far into Earth's future for our planet, for humanity, in really bringing in more templates of peace and unity and love. Okay. And so, wow, very beautiful. I know that this message may have felt a bit different, but I feel like we're being called to level up on every level. And my hope is that they still feel supportive for you and that you find whatever it is that you have been looking for to deepen your trust, to embody into who you are and your potential and capacity in the space of grace, in self love and self confidence. And as always, I'm so very grateful to be here with you. And as we're closing out this year of 2024, I'm just wishing you a beautiful space and time to appreciate yourself and reflect on all of those things that you've accomplished through this year and honoring that in yourself as you move into opening up to what the new year has to offer. And of course, doing that simultaneously, but that space and time where we actually reflect on and receive and retrieve the results of what we've accomplished up to this point is quite significant because even if you feel like you haven't fully achieved or manifested into the physical reality what you've been praying for all the way, what you have been doing is the groundwork. You've been clearing out the old, planting the seeds of the new, and doing one of the bravest things ever, which is to face yourself and embody into these new energies in a time and space where many around you may not necessarily understand that at the levels that you're doing it, but in fact, your love and your grace and your bravery to embody into this is your piece of the puzzle that's supporting the overall evolution. So, very beautiful. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing your part by being present on this planet. And again, I'm wishing you all so much love for the end and the beginning of this new time. Take care. See you soon.